Hey guys, what is up? This is PvT-Mitten's, and I'm going to be continuing my game series I'd like to see return. So without further ado, let us begin. Now, I haven't done an EA game yet, so let's touch upon DeadSpace for now. I am getting really, into this series, so I hope you're enjoying as much as I am. But let's begin. DeadSpace was released in 2008 for the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and the PC. It is currently sitting at 89% on Metacritic. Now, for anyone that hasn't played this game, it's a third-person survival horror shooter, akin to Resident Evil. So, yeah, great game, by the way. Must play if you've not played them. Now, up next we had a spin-off, which I'm still going to include because it's definitely worth talking about. That's Dead Space Extraction, released in 2009 for the Wii, and then ported to the PS3 with the Dead Space 2 physical copy, which I don't know why the Xbox and PC never got it. But this is currently sitting at 82% on Metacritic. So as you can see, it's still a good game. Now, this is an on-rail shooter, because as I said before, it's a spin-off. It's an on-rail shooter as opposed to being a third-person shooter. Now, don't let that throw you off, because Dead Space Extraction is a brilliant game, and I would recommend the Wii version first, but if you can't get the Wii version, definitely pick the PS3 version up to play it because it's on the disc with it. So after that, we actually got Dead Space's sequel, Dead Space 2. This was released in 2011 for the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and the PC. This is sitting at 90% on Metacritic. Now, Dead Space 2 was fantastic. Not my favorite, as I said, 1 is the best, but Dead Space 2 was fantastic. And let me just praise something before I forget. Dead Space 2's DLC was bloody brilliant. I'm not going to spoil anything for this video, but I'm not really one for DLC. I'll buy DLC, but I never really praise it. There's only a few games that I really enjoyed the DLC for, and Dead Space 2 is one of the best DLCs I've played. It's a single player DLC, which is a must buy if you own it. So check that out, guys. The multiplayer I'll touch upon real quick. Dead Space 2 brought multiplayer, which, it was there. Wasn't anything special. Wasn't anything, bad though. It was just there. It was decent for what it was. But yeah, Dead Space 2, brilliant game. Then we got the bastard child of the series. But before I talk upon that, I am not going to include the puzzle game that actually did come out before Dead Space 2. The reason I'm not counting it is because it was a downloadable puzzle game for Dead Space based upon the hacking that was in Dead Space 1. So I'm not going to talk about that because I just feel that it's not really there. Just also to go along with that, I'm not going to talk about the 2 animated movies. I'm talking about the games themselves. So sorry about that. Back on the topic. Here we go. Dead Space 3 was released in 2013 for the PC, PS3, and Xbox 360. It's currently sitting at 78% on Metacritic. Now, I think that's too high for this game. It takes something for me to really hate a game. I mean, here's an example. I enjoyed Mighty No. 9 for what it was. I'm not saying it's brilliant and a must-play game, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Duke Nukem Forever. Not bad, not good, that kind of thing. But let me be clear when I say this. I did not enjoy Dead Space 3. I hated this game. After coming off the superb Dead Space 2 with its phenomenal DLC, fucking Dead Space 3 was a joke. Sorry about me swearing, but I'm going to go into a rant here, so if you don't like swearing, I probably suggest just leaving now. If not, enjoy. Dead Space 3 is a fucking joke to the series. Now, Dead Space 3, I'm gonna go into all its details why it was so so bad. Now, Dead Space 1, as I said, was a horror game. It had action, of course, but the horror was about 80% of the game. Dead Space Extraction, same as that. 80% horror, 20% action. Dead Space 2 sort of went 60 horror, 40 action. Still good though. And I actually do like Dead Space 2's horror. I think it was done sometimes better than 1, even though I still prefer 1. Dead Space 3 was 30% horror, 70% action, and when I mean that, I mean that. It just baffles me why they did that with the series. And to give you an example, as I stated, Dead Space 1 and 2 were third-person shooters, right? They were akin to Resident Evil. Now correct me if I'm wrong, didn't people bag Resident Evil 6 for having a cover system? They were like, oh, it doesn't belong here. Fuck Resident Evil 6, blah, 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 blah. I personally thought Resident Evil 6 was okay. It wasn't terrible, it was okay. But at least Resident Evil 6 still felt like Resident Evil. Even though it was all action, to be fair, with like 10% being horror, it was still felt like a Resident Evil game. It was still fun to play sometimes, especially co-op. The co-op was really good in that game. Dead Space 3 on the other hand. No, Dead Space 3 doesn't feel like Dead Space. It feels like something else. Now, the reason I brought up the cover system is Dead Space 3 brought a cover system. Something that doesn't belong in Dead Space. Which what you did was, I believe it was R1 or L1 on the PlayStation. I could be wrong. And the cover system, even the cover system they added was shit. Now, it never belonged in the game, and you're probably thinking, why is there a cover system in a game that has you fighting aliens? I'm not going to spoil anything, so I'll say aliens, right? They added enemies to fight, as in humans. Now, they could have done this because they tried to make it as if, you know, they didn't trust any outsiders kind of thing. That's fine if they had have done it properly. They didn't do it properly. They essentially did what Aliens Colonial Marines did, where for most of the game you're not fighting the alien. Dead Space 3 did this as well. The cover system didn't work. It was useless. There was no point of using it. But something else the game notoriously pissed me off with, which I will never forgive it for doing this, is Dead Space 3 launched with microtransactions and day one DLC. Now, yes, it's commonplace nowadays with every game that gets released. But when this game came out, this was one of the very first instances of a AAA game doing it. I think the only ones that did this before them were like Ubisoft and Capcom. But other than that, this game had on-disc DLC, paid microtransactions, which I believe was the first game on a console to do it. I could be wrong. But the microtransactions were essentially... I've argued with someone on PlayStation about this. He says, what's the problem? You're the one that gets the option to spend money. That's not the point, though. The point is, if that's in the game, then what's stopping them from taking something else out and making you pay for it? Like, oh, this part's too hard. Here, how about you spend some money and you could buy ammunition or health packs? Do you see what I'm getting at? It ruins the experience of the game. And yes, every gamer should be allowed to play the game at their own leisure. That's fine. But not when the first two did it. If it had done it at launch in the first Dead Space, then it wouldn't bother me. But for 3 to do this, it's insulting to the series. The game also added co-op. Now, remember how I said a few minutes ago that Resident Evil 6 had great co-op? I mean, hell, Resident Evil 5 is one of the best co-op games of all time, in my opinion. Dead Space 3's co-op was fucking horrendous. I remember getting this game, and me and Devil were going to play co-op together because, you know, we like playing co-op games together with each other. Now, without spoiling anything, the main character in Dead Space, Isaac, is a great character. I really do like Isaac in the first game and second. First game, he was a silent protagonist. Second game, he did speak, but it was really, you know, well, he was well done. Now, Dead Space 3, he sort of doesn't shut the fuck up. I still like him, but he just doesn't, you know, doesn't know when to keep his mouth shut kind of thing. A bit like me, actually. But the other character that you play as co-op, oh my god, one of the worst characters in gaming, period. He's unlikable. He's a prick. Did I mention he's a prick? He's a... Oh, without spoiling anything, if you play this co-op, fight your friend. Make sure you get Isaac and not him. Because when me and Devil did this, we didn't want... we both wanted to play as Isaac, right? So we actually argued over who was going to play as Isaac and not the other dude. I can't even remember his name. That's how fucking annoying he was. So, in the end, we did rock paper scissors. Devil won, bastard. But he got to play as Isaac. I got to play as, you know, the main the new co-op character. Now, the co-op to Dead Space took all the horror elements out of the game and just turned it into a third-person co-op shooter. That's all it did. And that's what pissed me off. It tried to implement a few horror elements here and there, like, for example, one character would have a horror flash, you know, like along the lines of, say, fear, and the other one can't see what's going on. That would have been good if it had been done right, which I'll get to soon. But Dead Space 3 did that. But the one thing I will give Dead Space, I mean, I've bagged Dead Space for quite a bit here. I'll give Dead Space 3 one thing and one thing only. I like the inclusion of creating guns. Even though it wasn't implemented as good as it should have been, I did like that feature, and I will give it credit where credit is due. Now, what I'd like to see for the series, pretend 3 doesn't exist, right? Nah, seriously. We're not going to see 4, but let's just say we do get to see 4, right? I would like to see it set before the other games, where, say for instance, you're one of the very first people that actually find the marker. For anyone that hasn't played the game, don't worry, I'm not going to spoil anything. That's all I'm going to mention. You're the first to find the marker. You're a civilian, for example, and you actually have to find weapons. You're not, you know, creating them. But the created weapon kit you could actually unlock later on, kind of thing. You know, they can implement that kind of thing. Ditch co-op altogether. Ditch multiplayer. If they had a done co-op though, and if like it has to be a main thing in the series, now kind of, you know, thing they're going for. What I would think they should do for the series is do the co-op, you know, horror elements where one character sees this and thinks he can see the other character as, you know, like an alien. I'm not going to say what the aliens are called or explain them because I'd rather you just play it. But he says, you know, oh, there's a alien, you know, he starts shooting it. But it's the other character, and the other character's like, what the hell are you doing? And like, you know, it throws you off each other. You know, it's trying to get used to fight each other, you know, but you have to work together, but, you know, you more or less don't trust each other. That's what it should have done. Now, I think they should also implement, you know, as I said, no online, but if they're going to do an online, what I would implement for the online is more waves. You know, wave modes like you see, like horde mode from Gears, you know, that kind of thing. That would be interesting, especially for Dead Space, because I think that would really fit the series well, and it would be really cool to see that there. But we're not going to see another Dead Space game. Do you know why? Because this series, everyone I've talked to besides one Sony pony, and I'm calling him a Sony pony because, but anyway, everyone that I've talked to hates this game. And do you see why? It took away everything that made Dead Space, and it wouldn't bother me if it had been fun. It wasn't fun. It felt like a chore. Now, what I'm trying to get at here is, I've played all of Visceral Games. That's the developer. Sorry, I've played all their games on the PlayStation 3 and PS4. There may be something I'm missing. If I haven't, I apologize. Love Dead Space 1. Love Dead Space 2. Love Dead Space Extraction. I really enjoyed Dante's Inferno. Battlefield Hardline. I don't mind Battlefield Hardline. It shouldn't have been a Battlefield game, but if it had been a different shooter with different, you know, with a different name, nothing to do with Battlefield, I would have liked it. Really, like I would have really liked it. But as a Battlefield game, as it stands, it's just, you know, it's okay, it's fun, but it's got problems. Dead Space 3, I don't like. I've said this before. Dead Space 3 is one of the worst games of last gen, in my opinion. And this is coming from someone that said he tolerates bad games. I mean, I tolerate Resident Evil 6. I think it's not as bad as what people make it out to be. But Dead Space 3 is as bad as what I'm trying to make it out to be. Now, Visceral's supposed to be working on a new Star Wars game. So, should be good to see that. But unfortunately, I don't think we're going to see another Dead Space. I think if we're going to see another Dead Space, we're going to see... Sorry about that. PlayStation only has 15 minutes of recording audio. They need to patch that. But anyway, that's really what I want to say. That's DeadSpace. I didn't really have much thoughts for it. I just wanted to say that I really do like this series, bar of 3 of course, but I want to see it come back because it really is a series it did not deserve to go the way it did, especially because 3 did so much damage to it. But anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and stay tuned for the next one. I'm going to try and, because Devils gets the footage of the actual gameplay in the background, so I'm going to see if I can get him to do some PC games, because there's a lot of PC games that I am going to be talking about in the future. So yeah, look forward to that. If not, I'll try and see what I can do for that. But anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and sorry about the rant on Dead Space 3. But yeah, this is Private Mittens. Hope you guys enjoyed. Take care and see you later.